Alain Fabien Maurice Marcel Delon was born on November 8, 1935, in Sceaux, a small suburban commune in the Paris metropolitan area. His early life was marked by turbulence, a factor that would later influence the intense and often troubled characters he portrayed on screen. Delon's parents, Edith and Fabien Delon, divorced when he was just 4 years old. This separation left a lasting impact on the young Delon, who was subsequently shuttled between different guardians and schools. The sense of instability during his formative years contributed to his rebellious nature, which often manifested in his behavior both on and off the set. Delon's early education was inconsistent. He attended a series of Catholic boarding schools where he frequently clashed with authority figures. His rebellious streak led to his expulsion from multiple institutions, and by the age of 17, Delon decided to leave school altogether. His restless nature and search for direction led him to enlist in the French Navy in 1953, where he served during the First Indochina War. The harsh realities of war and the discipline of military life profoundly shaped Delon, instilling in him a toughness and resilience that would later be reflected in his on-screen personas. After leaving the Navy, Delon returned to Paris with no clear direction for his future. He worked various odd jobs, from waiter to porter, while trying to figure out his path. His striking good looks and magnetic presence caught the attention of several people in the Parisian social scene, eventually leading him to pursue a career in acting. Delon's entry into the film industry was serendipitous. His natural charisma and photogenic features made him a standout, even among the highly competitive environment of young actors in post-war France. Delon's first break came when he was introduced to a talent agent who saw his potential and arranged for him to take acting lessons. These early years were crucial in honing his craft, as Delon was naturally gifted but lacked formal training. His raw talent, combined with his intense focus, allowed him to quickly adapt to the demands of acting. His screen debut came in 1957 with a small role in the film Send a Woman When the Devil Fails. Although the role was minor, it was enough to get him noticed by directors and producers in the French film industry. The 1960s marked the beginning of Alain Delon's ascent to international stardom. His breakthrough role came in René Clément's Purple Noon, 1960, an adaptation of Patricia Highsmith's novel The Talented Mr. Ripley. Delon played the role of Tom Ripley, a charming yet morally ambiguous young man who is hired to retrieve a wealthy playboy from Europe, but instead plots to take over his identity. Delon's portrayal of Ripley was both chilling and mesmerizing, displaying a complexity that made the character both sympathetic and terrifying. The film was a critical and commercial success, establishing Delon as one of the most promising young actors in Europe. Following the success of Purple Noon, Delon became a sought-after actor, working with some of the most renowned directors of the time. His collaboration with Luchino Visconti in Rocco and His Brothers, 1960, further solidified his reputation. In this film, Delon played Rocco Perondi, a young man from southern Italy who moves to Milan with his family in search of a better life. The film explores themes of family, honor, and the struggles of adapting to a new life in the city. Delon's performance was both poignant and powerful, capturing the emotional depth of his character and earning him widespread acclaim. Delon's ability to convey a wide range of emotions with subtlety and nuance made him a favorite among directors like Visconti, who valued actors capable of delivering complex performances. In 1963, Delon starred in Visconti's epic The Leopard, alongside Burt Lancaster and Claudia Cardinale. Set during the Risorgimento, the film follows a Sicilian prince as he witnesses the decline of the aristocracy and the rise of a new social order. Delon played the prince's ambitious nephew, Tancredi, whose charm and political savvy reflect the changing times. The Leopard was a masterpiece of cinema, and Delon's performance was a key element of its success. Another significant collaboration during this period was with Jean-Pierre Melville, one of the leading figures of French New Wave cinema. Melville's minimalist style and focus on morally complex characters were a perfect match for Delon's screen persona. Their first collaboration was Les Samouraïs, 1967, in which Delon played Jeff Costello, a solitary hitman with a strict code of honor. The film is noted for its sparse dialogue and stylish cinematography, with Delon's performance as the stoic, enigmatic killer becoming one of his most iconic roles. Le Samouraï was a critical success and has since become a cult classic, influencing numerous films and directors in the decades that followed. Alain Delon was more than just an actor. He was a cultural icon whose style and persona had a lasting impact on cinema and beyond. His screen presence was marked by a blend of cool detachment and underlying intensity, a combination that made him irresistible to audiences. Delon's acting style was characterized by its minimalism. He often conveyed more with a glance or a slight change in expression than with words. This understated approach to acting was particularly effective in the types of roles he chose, many of which involved characters who were enigmatic, morally ambiguous, or emotionally restrained. Delon's physical appearance also played a significant role in his success. With his chiseled features, piercing blue eyes, and impeccably groomed appearance, Delon epitomized the ideal of masculine beauty. His looks were not just a superficial aspect of his persona, but were integral to the characters he portrayed. Directors like Melville and Visconti often cast Delon in roles that required a blend of charm and danger, leveraging his appearance to enhance the psychological complexity of his characters. Beyond the screen, Delon's style influenced fashion and popular culture. His wardrobe in films like Le Samouraï and La Piscine, 1969, became iconic, setting trends that extended far beyond the world of cinema. Delon's ability to convey a sense of effortless elegance made him a fashion icon, and his influence can still be seen in modern men's fashion. His preference for sharp suits, minimalist accessories, and a generally understated look has become synonymous with a certain brand of timeless, European sophistication. Delon's on-screen persona often revolved around the theme of duality. His characters were frequently caught between conflicting desires or moral dilemmas. This duality was mirrored in his personal life, where the line between the man and the myth often blurred. Delon himself acknowledged this in interviews, admitting that his characters often reflected aspects of his own personality. This blending of reality and fiction only added to his allure, making him one of the most compelling figures in cinema. Throughout his career, Alain Delon worked with some of the most influential directors in European cinema, creating a body of work that continues to be studied and admired. His collaborations with directors like Luchino Visconti, Jean-Pierre Melville, and Michelangelo Antonioni were particularly significant, as they allowed Delon to explore a wide range of characters and styles. Visconti, known for his opulent and emotionally charged films, provided Delon with some of his most memorable roles. In The Leopard, Delon's portrayal of Tancredi was a masterclass in subtlety, capturing the character's charm and ambition while also hinting at a deeper sense of disillusionment. Visconti's meticulous attention to detail and his ability to draw out nuanced performances from his actors made him an ideal collaborator for Delon, who thrived in roles that required both emotional depth and restraint. Jean-Pierre Melville, on the other hand, offered Delon the opportunity to explore the world of film noir, a genre that suited his enigmatic screen presence. In Le Samouraï, Delon's portrayal of the lone hitman Jeff Costello was both haunting and mesmerizing. Melville's minimalist approach to filmmaking with its focus on mood, atmosphere, and the inner lives of its characters, allowed Delon to deliver one of the most iconic performances of his career. Their collaboration continued with films like Le Cercle Rouge, 1970, and Un Flic, 1972, both of which further cemented Delon's reputation as a master of the noir genre. Michelangelo Antonioni, known for his existential explorations of alienation and ennui, provided Delon with a different kind of challenge in L'Eclisse, 1962. In this film, Delon played opposite Monica Vitti, portraying a young stockbroker caught in an ambiguous, emotionally distant relationship. Antonioni's use of visual symbolism and his focus on the emotional isolation of his characters allowed Delon to explore a more introspective, contemplative side of his acting. Delon's influence on other actors and directors cannot be overstated. His work in the 1960s and 1970s helped to redefine the role of the leading man in European cinema, moving away from the traditional hero archetype and towards more complex, morally ambiguous characters. Delon's ability to convey a sense of inner conflict and vulnerability, while still maintaining an air of cool detachment, made him a model for subsequent generations of actors. As Alain Delon's star rose in Europe, he began to attract attention from Hollywood, the global epicenter of cinema. Unlike many European actors who transitioned to Hollywood in pursuit of greater fame and fortune, Delon approached Hollywood with caution. He was selective about the roles he accepted, preferring to maintain his artistic integrity and the persona he had cultivated in European cinema. His Hollywood forays, though limited, were significant and added to his international acclaim. In 1964, Delon starred in The Yellow Rolls-Royce, an ensemble film featuring an international cast, including Ingrid Bergman and Shirley MacLaine. The film, while not a major artistic achievement, showcased Delon's ability to hold his own alongside some of Hollywood's biggest stars. His role as a playboy in the film played to his strengths, emphasizing his charm and on-screen magnetism. Another notable Hollywood venture was The Lost Command, 1966, directed by Mark Robson. In this war drama, Delon played Captain Esclavier, a French paratrooper involved in the Algerian War. The film, while more action-oriented than his European projects, allowed Delon to demonstrate his versatility as an actor. His performance was well received, although the film itself did not achieve the same level of critical acclaim as his European work. Delon's most significant Hollywood project was Red Sun, 1971, a Western co-starring Charles Bronson and Toshiro Mifune. Directed by Terrence Young, the film was a cross-cultural endeavor that combined the sensibilities of American, European, and Japanese cinema. Delon played the role of Gauche, a French gunslinger caught in a complex plot involving a samurai and an American outlaw. The film was a commercial success and further solidified Delon's status as an international star. However, despite the film's success, Delon remained ambivalent about Hollywood, preferring the artistic freedom and unique storytelling opportunities offered by European cinema. Throughout his career, Delon maintained a balance between his European roots and his international appeal. He worked with some of the most respected filmmakers from around the world, ensuring that his performances remained varied and compelling. Despite his occasional Hollywood appearances, Delon never fully embraced the American film industry, choosing instead to remain true to his European sensibilities. Alain Delon's personal life was as dramatic and publicized as his on-screen performances. His relationships, scandals, and controversies were often front-page news, adding to the mystique and allure that surrounded him. Delon's love life, in particular, was the subject of intense media scrutiny, as he was romantically linked with some of the most beautiful and famous women of his time. One of Delon's most famous relationships was with Romy Schneider, the Austrian actress known for her role as Empress Elizabeth of Austria in the Sisi trilogy. Delon and Schneider met on the set of Christine, 1958, and quickly became one of Europe's most glamorous couples. Their relationship was passionate and tumultuous, marked by intense love and frequent separations. The media followed their every move, making them a symbol of romantic idealism. However, their relationship eventually ended in 1963, leaving both Delon and Schneider emotionally scarred. Despite their breakup, the two remained close, and Delon was devastated by Schneider's untimely death in 1982. After his relationship with Schneider, Delon was involved with a series of high-profile women, including actresses Nathalie Delon and Mireille d'Arc. He married Nathalie Delon in 1964, and they had a son, Anthony Delon, before divorcing in 1969. His relationship with Mireille d'Arc, another leading French actress, lasted over a decade and was one of the most significant of his life. Despite their eventual separation, Delon and d'Arc remained close until her death in 2017. Delon's personal life was not without controversy. He was frequently involved in scandals that made headlines across Europe. One of the most infamous was his alleged involvement in the death of his bodyguard, Stefan Markovic, in 1968. Markovic was found dead under suspicious circumstances, and rumors quickly spread that Delon was somehow involved. The case became a major scandal, implicating various figures in the French political and entertainment circles. While Delon was never formally charged, the scandal tarnished his public image and added a layer of intrigue to his persona. Delon was also known for his outspoken and sometimes controversial views on politics and society. Over the years, he made several statements that were seen as provocative or politically incorrect, further fueling the media's fascination with him. Despite the controversies, Delon remained unapologetic, standing by his beliefs and continuing to live life on his own terms. The 1970s marked a period of reinvention for Alain Delon. As he aged, Delon transitioned from the youthful, charismatic roles of his early career to more complex, darker characters. This period saw him exploring themes of existentialism, morality, and the human condition, often portraying anti-heroes and flawed individuals. One of Delon's most notable films from this era is Le Cercle Rouge, 1970, directed by Jean-Pierre Melville. In this film, Delon played Corey, a recently released convict who masterminds a heist with a former police sharpshooter and a fugitive. Le Cercle Rouge is a quintessential Melville film, characterized by its deliberate pacing, minimal dialogue, and focus on the psychology of its characters. Delon's performance was praised for its stoic intensity, and the film is considered one of the best examples of the French crime genre. In 1976, Delon starred in Monsieur Klein, directed by Joseph Losey. The film, set during the Nazi occupation of France, tells the story of Robert Klein, an art dealer who becomes entangled in a case of mistaken identity involving a Jewish man with the same name. Monsieur Klein is a haunting exploration of identity, guilt, and complicity, and Delon's performance is one of his most nuanced. The film was critically acclaimed and won the César Award for Best Film, further establishing Delon's reputation as an actor capable of delivering powerful, introspective performances. During the 1980s, Delon continued to work in both French and international cinema, although he became more selective in his roles. He appeared in a mix of crime dramas, thrillers, and art house films, often playing characters who were morally ambiguous or haunted by their past. This period also saw Delon taking on more roles behind the camera, as he became increasingly involved in film production. As the 1990s approached, Alain Delon began to slow down his acting career, choosing to focus on other interests, including his business ventures and personal life. However, he continued to appear in films, often in roles that reflected his status as a veteran of the industry. In 1998, Delon starred in Une Chance sur Deux, a film that reunited him with Jean-Paul Belmondo, another icon of French cinema. The film, a light-hearted action comedy, was a nostalgic nod to the golden era of French cinema, bringing together two of its biggest stars. While the film was not a critical success, it was a commercial hit, reminding audiences of Delon's enduring appeal. Delon's final major film role was in Asterix at the Olympic Games, 2008, where he played Julius Caesar. The film, a big-budget French production, was a box office success, and Delon's portrayal of Caesar was praised for its wit and charisma. This role was a fitting end to Delon's cinematic career, as it allowed him to showcase his charm and comedic timing while paying homage to his illustrious past. In 2019, Delon received the honorary Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, a Lifetime Achievement Award recognizing his contributions to cinema. The award was a significant moment for Delon, as it symbolized his place in the pantheon of great actors. In his acceptance speech, Delon reflected on his long career, acknowledging both the highs and lows and expressing gratitude for the recognition. After receiving the Palme d'Or, Delon largely retired from public life, choosing to spend his final years in seclusion. He lived in a quiet village in the French countryside, where he could enjoy a peaceful life away from the spotlight. Despite his retirement, Delon remained a revered figure in French and international cinema, with his films continuing to be studied and appreciated by new generations of cinephiles. Throughout his career, Alain Delon received numerous awards and honors, both in France and internationally. These accolades not only recognized his talent as an actor, but also his impact on the film industry and popular culture. Delon won his first major award, the César Award for Best Actor, in 1985 for his role in Notre Histoire. The Césars, France's equivalent of the Academy Awards, recognized Delon's powerful performance in the film, which was a departure from his usual roles. The award was a significant achievement, as it acknowledged Delon's versatility and ability to take on challenging, unconventional characters. In addition to the César, Delon received several international awards throughout his career. He was honored at film festivals around the world, including the Venice Film Festival, where he received the Golden Lion for Lifetime Achievement in 1995. This award was particularly meaningful for Delon, as it came from Italy, a country that had played a significant role in his career, thanks to his collaborations with directors like Visconti and Antonioni. Delon's contributions to cinema were also recognized by the French government. In 1991, he was awarded the Legion of Honor, one of the country's highest civilian distinctions. This honor was a testament to Delon's cultural impact and his significant contributions to French cinema. The Legion of Honor acknowledged Delon not only as an actor, but also as a cultural icon whose influence extended beyond the screen. Despite the accolades, Delon's relationship with the French film establishment was often complicated. He was known for his strong opinions and sometimes clashed with critics and industry figures. However, his talent and legacy were undeniable, and over time, even his detractors acknowledged his importance to the industry. Alain Delon's impact on cinema is profound and enduring. His performances in films like Le Samouraï, The Leopard, and Purple Noon have become benchmarks in the study of film acting. Delon's ability to convey complex emotions with subtlety and his mastery of minimalism in acting have influenced countless actors and filmmakers. One of the most significant aspects of Delon's legacy is his contribution to the noir genre. His portrayals of morally ambiguous, solitary characters in films like Le Cercle Rouge and Le Samouraï helped define the archetype of the modern anti-hero. Delon's characters were often men of few words, driven by an internal code of honor, yet haunted by existential questions. This persona resonated with audiences and has been emulated by many actors in subsequent generations. Delon's influence is also evident in the fashion world. His style, both on and off screen, set trends that continue to inspire designers and fashion enthusiasts. The sharp suits, minimalist accessories, and effortless cool that Delon embodied have become synonymous with a certain brand of timeless, European sophistication. Even decades after his peak, Delon's image remains a touchstone for elegance and style. Academically, Delon's films are frequently analyzed for their thematic depth and the unique way they reflect the cultural and social issues of their time. His collaborations with directors like Melville, Visconti, and Antonioni are studied in film schools around the world, with students and scholars alike examining the nuanced performances and the rich visual storytelling that these films represent. Delon's legacy is also felt in the way he pushed the boundaries of the roles available to actors of his era. He was not afraid to take on challenging, unconventional characters that explored the darker sides of human nature. In doing so, he helped to broaden the scope of roles available to actors in European cinema, paving the way for more complex and varied character portrayals in the industry. Alain Delon's death on August 18, 2024, marked the end of an era in European cinema. He passed away at his home in Douchy, in the Val de Loire region of France, surrounded by his 3 children and close family members. His death was peaceful, a quiet end to a life that had been filled with intensity, passion, and artistic achievement. The news of Delon's passing sent shockwaves through the film community and beyond. Tributes poured in from around the world, with filmmakers, actors, and fans expressing their admiration for the legendary actor. French President Emmanuel Macron issued a statement, calling Delon a monument of French cinema and a symbol of French culture. Macron's words echoed the sentiments of many who saw Delon not just as an actor, but as a cultural icon whose work transcended national boundaries. Film festivals and cinemas around the world held special screenings of Delon's films in the days following his death, allowing fans to celebrate his life and legacy. In France, a national day of mourning was declared, and Delon's funeral was attended by many of the country's most prominent figures in cinema and the arts. As fans and critics alike reflected on Delon's career, it became clear that his impact on cinema was immeasurable. His performances had left an indelible mark on the industry, and his influence would continue to be felt for generations to come. Alain Delon was more than just an actor. He was a symbol of a certain era in cinema, a figure who encapsulated the glamour, complexity, and artistry of European film. His career spanned 6 decades, during which he captivated audiences with his intense performances, striking looks, and enigmatic screen presence. Delon's ability to embody both the hero and the anti-hero made him a unique figure in cinema, one who could not be easily categorized. As we remember Alain Delon, it is important to consider not just the roles he played, but the broader impact he had on the world of film. He was a trailblazer who challenged conventions and pushed the boundaries of what was possible in cinema. His collaborations with some of the greatest directors of his time resulted in films that are now considered classics, and his influence on fashion, culture, and acting continues to be felt. Delon's passing marks the end of a chapter in the history of cinema, but his legacy will live on. His films will continue to be watched, studied, and admired, and his influence will be seen in the work of future generations of actors and filmmakers.